one of the most important things in investing is to know when you have a knowledge advantage, know when you have a knowledge disadvantage, and to know when you're in between. Because when you have that knowledge advantage, that is, you know something that almost nobody else knows or understands, that's when you can find the opportunities and bet big. When you simply know what's going on, you can allocate some money there. Like, I know that Warren Buffett's pretty smart and he does okay and he's probably not going to lose all the money. So I allocate money to Berkshire Hathaway. I'm not going to bet the farm on it, and I don't expect to go up 10x on it because I don't have a knowledge advantage there, right? And things that I don't understand at all, there's certain areas in investing, that's where you might want to do a fund. There's certain things where I don't go near it because I don't get it. Health companies. I have this genomics fund I've talked about before, Kathy Wood's genomics fund. I like it because I do understand what genomics is and it's good and I want to be invested, but I can't start picking winners. What do I know? So I'm in a fund. So it's important to understand. And the point I'm getting at here is that DeFi applications are approaching this point of where I cannot have a knowledge advantage. It's getting over my head. And, so Ethereum, I feel I have a great knowledge advantage right now. And the other thing to recognize is maybe someday I won't have a knowledge advantage, but today I do, so I can bet big and I feel good about it. But when it comes to DeFi apps, so, and one example here, I've got this paper talks about constant function market makers like Uniswap Curve and Balancer, also called automatic market makers. And if you want to be investing in these, you've got to understand a paper like this. You need to understand, and just to scroll down here, give you a sense of what we're dealing with. The people who are at the top of the field, the top investors, are going to be looking at these equations and they understand them. Okay, this looks like Greek to me. It might be Greek. Look at this thing. This is, I have no business betting big on applications and things when I don't have a knowledge advantage. And as long as this exists and I can't even read it, how do I have a knowledge advantage, right? Now, I am going to make a video about Uniswap. I still like Uniswap. I'm still invested in some DeFi too. But I see where this is going, right? Now, another thing is insurance. I know that, here was a great post about NXM, a lesson in book value and optionality, talking about how NXM, Nexus Mutuals, token is now trading below book value and why that makes it a great investment. He goes on, and I get what he's saying and this and that, but it's just, I know that I need to understand this stuff deeper if I'm going to be betting big on this stuff. And it's, part of it is it over my head, or is it just I'm 50 years old and I don't want to spend all my time thinking about it and figuring it out? If you're young, you may just want to pick one area that you're interested in and dive in. So here's, this guy writing about it's kind of complicated, but there's a formula to it. All you have to do is understand this formula, right? This here. All you got to do is understand this. Okay. Maybe I'm not even saying it's over my head. If I spent a lot of hours and I kept coming back to it and working it and banging my head against the wall, maybe eventually I would get it. And then actually buy some of the token, test things out, use them. Then I could learn. But I'm too old and I don't need to, I don't want to do it. If you're younger, you may want to dive into some of these things. It's a lot of times the schools like to teach you that, you're either smart or you're dumb. You either understand or you don't. It's usually not like that. It's you put the time in and then you'll know. Now, you need to be interested in something, and there's certain things that we all have sort of proclivities and interest to understand, and you got to know yourself, know your knowledge advantage. But anyways, So Nexus Mutual, here's another DeFi thing that there's no way I'm going to have a knowledge advantage on it. Aave is, and I posted on Twitter, people got excited, time for a deep dive in Aave. Because it looks great. The guy who started it, he looks like a genius. The thing's doing amazing. I don't have the energy to dive in and really understand what the heck is going on at Aave. And flash loans, what kind of risk does that cause for Aave, if any? I don't know. It's just, I don't know if I'm just old and lazy. But if you can't dig that deep, then you have no business making a big bet. And then oracles. And I've talked about, so this is, so look at this. And this is, because I've talked about this too. I mean, another point in DeFi is things are moving so fast. If you're not on top of it, you got a winner. Here, look at, this is, where are we here? What's my time? This is only 3 months, okay? 3 months ago, Chainlink was 92% of the market. This is number of Oracle calls. You can also do call number of contracts. Oracle was 64% at 3 months ago. Let's go back further. Hold on. I mean, a year. I mean, nothing even existed a year ago. But if you look at this, Chainlink, okay, so blue is Uniswap. So in August, Uniswap launched. It was 0. Chainlink was 100% of the market. And, okay, we're looking at, I'm in over my head here. Contract calls, number of calls. I don't know. I got to really dig into what's the difference between calls and contract calls and which one really matters, okay? But for the sake of showing numbers here, how fast things move, look at Uniswap already, splitting the market. So, and I've talked about, Chainlink, it's not decentralized, what's the value of the token? But I think people are using the token for something. They pay people in their token. I don't know. Maybe it has some value. I have great concerns. So there's two issues. Another concern about investing in a DeFi project. Things move so fast that you can be right one day and 3 months later you're wrong, right? Chainlink, 100% of the market. 3 months later, they're 50% of the market. What about 3 months from now? Right? This little purple guy, for all we know. Who's this? Oh, that's Sushi. That's another example. Sushi came out. I mean, it looked really stupid to me. I even posted on Twitter, I'm like, Sushi Swap? You fucking kidding me? Like some guy tried to steal money. They just copied code. It looks ridiculous. Well, they've got some volume. I still kind of think it's stupid, to be honest with you. And I'm going to make a video on Uniswap. I think people are underappreciating Uniswap. Version 2 is coming out shortly. That's another video. But these numbers change so fast. And I talked about, remember Kyber? It's a year ago, but Kyber was like it was just Uniswap and Kyber were the two biggest. Then all of a sudden, where the fuck is Kyber? Right? I think it's this tiny little guy over here. Meanwhile, if you're just following Kyber, look at the numbers. Looks great, right? But it's not that great compared to everybody else. Okay, so following numbers, that to me is doable. The problem is understanding, if you're talking about the battle here of all these exchanges, that comes back to you got to understand this shit, I think. If you want to be betting real big. That's why I'm thinking I want to find a fund at some point. So I'm in some DeFi tokens. I'll talk about those. I'll talk about a portfolio allocation video, what I like, whatever. I'm in some things. I'm not selling today because everything's going up. Even if you're wrong, things are going to go up right now. But at some point, I think I'm phasing out of picking DeFi winners and maybe find a fund, that I can just, that'll do the thinking for me. Which one is this? Synthetics. I tried it. I was in synthetics. It was at 30 cents. So where the hell was I? I mean, I don't know the date, but it was around 30 cents. I was playing with it, and I thought I didn't like it. I did my research, I didn't like it. Well, guess what? I wish I liked it. It went up a lot. And it's staying around. But the problem is, why didn't I like it? I don't know. The things that I was looking at, it didn't strike me, and I don't get it. Honestly, synthetics. I know what it is. And the point I'm getting at, this is why I think some of you are going to be like, he's just stupid. He doesn't understand. A lot of you don't understand what it means. And honestly, I didn't understand what it meant until, I was in my late 40s. To know what it feels like to have that knowledge advantage. To understand something that nobody else gets. Otherwise, you think, I understand it because you understand on the surface. You understand a little. Like, I understand synthetics. They're making synthetic assets of different, different assets out there. And I understand in general what they're doing. But not deeply enough. And not deeply enough to love it, And this is the issue for me and almost all of DeFi. And that's, where we're going here. Yearn. Look at all the shit they got going on. And then the Wi-Fi token, when I hear about it, this is the type of thing I would buy because I love the story. Yearn is like it's like a hedge fund. You're getting 2% and 20% on all these different projects that they got going on. You're making money all over DeFi, and it sounds awesome, but honestly, what the fuck? Where? How? I don't get it. I just made a video 3 months ago about governance tokens, how I don't really like them. But now I'm like, okay, well, governance tokens, maybe they're not that bad. They look like they're here to stay. But at the same time, I've got obviously some reservations about governance tokens and so I don't know. How do I pick winners in this kind of world? I don't think, and I have to, listen, you can't bet on everything, right? I can't, I have to, and I got a shitload of money in Ethereum, and I love it, and I'm happy about it, and that's great. And honestly, that's good enough, right? If DeFi does well, Ethereum is going to do well. Like, in other words, don't feel like you have to invest in every project that goes to the moon. Like I said, synthetics, I was playing with it at 30 cents, and I don't own it. I'm not crying about it. I got plenty of I got my Tesla went up 10x. I had this Kyber went up 10x. I think, well, whatever. Kyber went up about 10x. What else do we got going on here? I got some nice winners. Ren in that thing at 4 cents. Doing okay. But I gotta know what I gotta know what I know. Ren is another one. At the time when Ren was coming out, I felt that advantage. Nobody was talking about it. And everybody was talking about TBTC. And I'm like, this thing looks great, So I sort of was like onto something. Now Ren is out. People know about it. It's doing what it's doing. Now it's a question of, let me pull up this little chart here. Where is it? Hello, Ren. Well, there's this one. Okay, this is only 90 days. Their volume, I'd like to, I'd like to have a longer time frame. How about this? So, if you look at Ren here, look at what the volume was doing, right? It was blowing up. And then it came down. So now, what is the volume going to do now for Ren? This is Ren BTC. Is the volume going to blow up again? I don't know. Like, people know. I think it's valued for its volume being in this area. I don't know. It's probably fairly valued here. If this goes straight up, the token will go straight up. If it goes down, so I don't know. But do I know that it's going to go straight up? Or that... And I'm very skeptical about a lot of this interoperability because it seems like everything is on Ethereum. What do you need to be interoperable if everything is in one chain? So I don't know. A lot of doubts. I don't have doubts about DeFi in general. I think it's awesome. Amazing things are happening and growing. And I do have some bets. Like I said, I'll talk about them. I love my uni. And I've got, Maker, and I got a couple that I have my bets on. But I have doubts. I mean, Maker, it's another one. Let's, let me show you. Hold on a second. Let me do this here. Let me find Maker. Yeah. So this thing here, I mean, so I was like, you can add up all their annual fees, how much they're making a year from interest, divide that into the market cap, so it gives you how much value is accruing to the token. And there's issues with that because they're not paying it as a dividend, it's just burning tokens, and some people are talking about how, well, burning tokens sucks, so it doesn't matter. And maybe that's true too, but the numbers were looking awesome, and then all of a sudden, USDC interest rate goes to 0. So this number they were getting, I don't know, I think it was 4%, all of a sudden went to 0. First of all, I don't know why it's 0%. Why did they lower? I don't know why they lowered it. I didn't know it was coming, so I'm valuing it, and all of a sudden these numbers change. I don't know why. So, do I know what the fuck I'm doing? Maybe not. So again, I love DeFi in general. That's why maybe a fund would make sense. But so my long-term plan with investing in DeFi is I have some bets that I have that I kind of like. We'll talk about it when I do my portfolio allocation video. But as this bull runs and these things, at some point, these things are going to moon, and going to go straight up. I'm not going to be the first one to sell these things. I don't need to sell it this second, but I think I might be done at some point. And then, and then when the market crashes, eventually, then maybe get into a DeFi fund. And I don't know what that's going to look like. And by a fund, I mean an index. There's these things that they just buy the top DeFi tokens, or I don't even know what's available. But I don't, this picking winners in DeFi, it's getting hairy. So, I think that's it. Let me know what you think, guys. Thanks for listening. Much love.